She thought retirement would bring peace, but instead it brought silence. After 60, millions face a hidden epidemic no one dares to talk about. But what if I told you there are 5 powerful ways to turn isolation into inspiration? And you won't believe number 3. Have you ever wondered how so many seniors end up feeling invisible, even when they're surrounded by people? It doesn't happen all at once. It's like your world shrinks inch by inch. The phone rings less. Invitations dry up. Conversations become quick nods or polite small talk at best. And suddenly you realize the silence has become your new normal. But here's something no one wants to admit out loud. Sometimes the loneliest moments happen in a room full of family. You can be at a holiday dinner, listening to laughter echo through the house and still feel like you're sitting behind glass, watching, not participating. Henry knows this feeling all too well. He's 74, lives just outside of Dallas. His son lives 10 minutes down the road. 10 minutes. But between early work shifts, soccer practice for the grandkids, and the general busyness of life, visits went from every week to every month, and now? It's been 3.5 months since they sat down face to face. Henry says, "It's like I'm still here, but I'm fading out of focus for everyone else." That hit me hard. Because Henry isn't bitter. He's proud of his son. He understands life gets complicated. But that doesn't erase the ache of being forgotten in plain sight. And that's the quiet heartbreak so many seniors carry alone. It's not that people don't love you. It's that they forget how much you need to feel included, not just acknowledged. Now, if any of this is sounding painfully familiar, go ahead and tap the like button. Not just for this video, but as a gentle signal to others watching that they're not imagining it, that someone else out there understands. The truth is, loneliness isn't just about physical company. It's about connection. Feeling like your voice matters. Like your presence is wanted, not tolerated. And let me tell you, science has finally caught up with what our hearts have known for years. Loneliness doesn't just weigh on the spirit, it quietly chips away at our health. Studies show it can raise blood pressure, disrupt sleep, slow healing, and even mimic the effects of chronic illness. Not because we're weak, but because we were designed for connection. Our brains need companionship like our lungs need air. But here's the good news, it's not a life sentence. Connection is not only possible after 60, it can be deeper, richer, and more meaningful than ever. Sometimes, it's just hiding behind a tiny shift in mindset, or one unexpected opportunity. Take Susan, for example. She's 82, lives alone in a small town in Nebraska. For years, she avoided social events at the local community center. Said she didn't want to be around a bunch of strangers. Then one day, on a whim, she walked into a line dancing class they offered on Tuesdays. She figured she'd just watch. But you know what happened? She got pulled into the circle. A stranger smiled, took her hand, and before she knew it, Susan was two-stepping like it was 1959. The next week she brought cookies. The week after that, she was helping decorate for the center's fall festival. Now she says that one spontaneous Tuesday brought her back to life. That's the beautiful thing. Sometimes it doesn't take a miracle. Just a moment. And I want you to think about this. What's one thing, just one, you could try this week that nudges you back toward people? It doesn't have to be big. A quick chat with the cashier. Waving at the neighbor you've never actually spoken to. Signing up for a library program, even if you just sit in the back and listen. Because every step you take toward others is one step away from loneliness. And don't worry, there's no right way to reconnect. You don't need to be charming or outgoing. You don't need to fake energy you don't have. You just need to show up as you. If you're still with me right now, I want to invite you to do something. Drop a quick comment below and finish this sentence. One way I'm choosing connection this week is, that little note could spark ideas for someone else who's feeling stuck. You never know whose heart you might lift. Because here's something I believe with all my heart. The world needs your voice. Your stories. Your laughter. Your wisdom. You're not a leftover. You're not an afterthought. You are a vital part of this messy, beautiful thing we call life. And even if your calendar looks empty right now, your next friendship might just be one brave hello away. So don't go just yet. There's more I want to share with you. Some simple, unexpected ways real seniors are breaking out of isolation and finding joy again. And I promise one of them will surprise you. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Because here on Everyday Seniors, we're not here to talk at you. We're here to walk with you. Through the quiet days, the bright ones, and everything in between. You're not alone, not now, not ever. Have you ever noticed how silence doesn't always mean peace? Sometimes it means no one called. No one visited. No one asked how your day was. That's a silence that builds like dust. Quiet at first, then everywhere. And the most painful part? You're not even sure when it started. You just woke up one day and realized the world got louder and you somehow got quieter. Let's talk about the kind of loneliness that doesn't look lonely from the outside. Because the truth is, most people assume that seniors who feel isolated must have no one. No family, no neighbors, no one to talk to. But here's the twist. Many seniors feel the deepest isolation while being surrounded by people who mean well, but are simply too distracted, too busy, or too caught up in their own lives. I want you to meet Annette. She's 69, lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. She has 3 grown kids, 7 grandkids, and a dog named Button. Sounds like a full life, right? But here's what Annette said. I hear from them the most when something's wrong. If I'm not sick or in the hospital, I don't get much attention. It's like I only exist in emergencies. That's real. And it hurts. And the worst part? Annette doesn't want to complain. She doesn't want to be a burden. So she smiles. She says she's fine. And then she goes back to watching game shows and talking to her dog. Now, let me be clear. This isn't about blaming kids or grandkids. Life is hectic. We all know that. But seniors are quietly being erased from the center of their own families, and it's time we start naming that truth. And if you're nodding along right now thinking this sounds like me, hit that like button. It doesn't cost a thing, and it might just let another senior know they're not alone in this. See, we've been taught that asking for connection is needy, that speaking up when we're lonely is a weakness. But here's the truth most people never say out loud. Loneliness is not a personal failure, it's a public health crisis. Did you know that feeling isolated can raise your risk of early death by nearly 30%? That's according to the CDC. And Harvard researchers found that chronic loneliness can be as harmful to your body as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It's not in your head. It's in your heart, your brain, your immune system. But that doesn't mean it's hopeless. Because just like loneliness can creep in slowly, connection can return, gently and powerfully. Let me tell you about Leo. He's 81, a retired mechanic from Milwaukee. After his wife passed, he didn't leave the house for almost a year, except for groceries and doctor's appointments. He said the quiet became heavy. Then one Sunday he noticed a flyer at the grocery store, Senior Woodworking Club, no experience necessary. Now, Leo hadn't touched a tool bench in years. Arthritis slowed his hands. His confidence was low. But something about that flyer stirred a spark. He went. And even though his first birdhouse looked more like a mailbox, he kept showing up. Week after week. Now, Leo is teaching the beginners. And he's found 3 new friends he eats lunch with every Thursday at a diner called Millie's. It didn't happen overnight. But it did happen. All it took was showing up once. That's what I want you to hear today. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to become a social butterfly. You just have to take one step. Small, clumsy, courageous. Even something as simple as walking to your mailbox a little earlier to catch your neighbor. Or saying yes to the next invitation, even if you'd rather stay home. Because the truth is, connection doesn't chase us down after 60. We have to go out and invite it in. So let me ask you, what's one small way you can open the door this week? Leave a comment below and tell me. Not only will you inspire others, you might even start a conversation that leads to something more. And don't underestimate the power of technology either. I know. Buttons are small, screens are confusing, and half the time it feels like your phone is mocking you. But once you get past the learning curve, that little device in your pocket can become a lifeline. FaceTiming your grandkids, joining a virtual walking group, watching church services online with friends across the country. Even YouTube, yes, this place right here, can be a source of joy and companionship. You'd be amazed how many seniors leave comments on our videos just to connect with someone who understands what they're going through. If you're curious about how to use tech to beat loneliness, stick around. We've got some great stories coming up that'll blow you away. And if you're new here and haven't hit that subscribe button yet, go ahead and do it. We make content just for you and the people who love you every single week. This is your place and we want you to feel at home here. So here's your reminder. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are needed, wanted, and cherished. And your voice matters more than you know. Have you ever realized that after 60, connection doesn't just happen anymore? It's not like in your 30s when you'd meet people at your kids' soccer games, or in your 40s when your job brought daily conversations and happy hours, or even in your 50s when neighbors still knocked on doors and invited you to barbecues. But now, connection has to be built intentionally. And while that may sound hard, it's also powerful. Because once you know that truth, you can stop waiting and start building. Let me introduce you to Clara. Clara is 73 and lives in Boise, Idaho. She was married for 51 years. When her husband passed, her world went quiet, fast. No more morning coffee conversations. No more evening, what's for dinner? No more weekend grocery runs together. Just silence. Days blurred into each other. Her phone stopped ringing. Even her pastor stopped checking in after a few months. She told herself she was doing okay, but inside she wasn't. One day she was at the pharmacy picking up her blood pressure meds, and the young woman at the counter, probably in her 20s, mentioned something in passing. We're doing this thing at the library now. Free classes for seniors. Something with FaceTime and video calls. You should check it out. Clara almost didn't go. She thought, what's the point? I don't need a computer. I'm not some techie. But something nudged her. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was that last lonely Sunday afternoon that felt too heavy. So she went. And that decision changed her entire life. The first class was hard. The instructor talked fast. Clara's hands trembled a little when trying to swipe the screen. But she went back the next week. And the next. Soon she was FaceTiming her niece in Colorado. Then her old friend Elaine, who had moved to Oregon. Then, this is the best part, she joined a virtual book club with 4 other women from different parts of the country. Last Christmas, Clara hosted a Zoom party. Laughter, tears, music, and for the first time in years her house felt full again, even through a screen. All because of one yes. That's the real magic no one tells us about aging. Your next chapter isn't written yet. You can still meet new people. You can still learn new things. And you can still feel deeply connected to others, if you're willing to take that first brave step. And if you're sitting there thinking, that's wonderful for Clara, but I'm not good with technology, I want you to know, you don't have to be. No one starts out an expert. Clara didn't. I didn't. You just start. You try. You ask questions. You mess up and laugh at yourself. And if you've ever felt like technology has left you behind, let's hear it in the comments. Say, I'm ready to learn, and maybe, just maybe, someone else will say it too and you'll start something together. Because here's the deeper truth. Most seniors aren't lonely because they don't want friends. They're lonely because the world stopped making connection easy. We don't walk to neighbors' porches anymore. We text. We don't gather at town squares. We scroll. But what if you brought connection back, one person at a time? That's what James did. James is 76 and lives outside of Cleveland, Ohio. He's a widower, lives alone, and used to go entire weeks without speaking to anyone except the cashier at the gas station. But one day he noticed that the same man, a fellow senior, was walking past his house every morning at 9 a.m. like clockwork. So one day James stood on his porch and said, "Hey there, what's your route?" That started a 5-minute chat. The next week they walked together. Now, every morning they do a 30-minute stroll around the block. They talk about old rock and roll, classic cars, and bad weather. They even invited a third neighbor last month. James says those walks gave him back something he thought he lost: belonging. And it started with one hello. Just one. So ask yourself this: is there someone you could wave to? Is there a club you've been curious about but never joined? Is there a skill, like cooking, painting, or gardening, you could share with others? Because your story isn't over. And loneliness doesn't have to be your final chapter. And if you've made it this far in the video, that tells me something. You care about connection. You're not giving up on the world, and we're not giving up on you. So why not subscribe? At Everyday Seniors, we're building a little family of people just like you, strong, wise, kind, and still full of life. And each week we bring stories, tools, and hope to your screen. Because we believe something simple: aging isn't the end. It's an invitation to love deeper, to laugh louder, and yes, to connect even when the world tries to pull us apart. So say yes to one small thing today: that library flyer, that new neighbor, that FaceTime lesson, that walking club. Because you never know, your next friend might be one brave hello away. Have you ever noticed how sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest power? Not a major life change, not moving to a new city, not some grand reunion. Just one quiet moment that gently shifts your world. That's what happened to Joe in San Diego. Joe is 82, Korean War veteran, tough as nails, sharp as a tack. But when his wife passed 3 years ago, he slowly faded from the world around him. He stopped going to church, stopped watching the Padres. He even stopped tending to the bonsai trees he'd once loved so much. His daughter tried to check in, but she lived 3 states away and had 2 kids of her own. Joe didn't want to be a burden. Then one day, someone from a local senior center gave him a call. They were launching a new program: connection coaches, volunteers who would call once a week just to talk. Joe wasn't interested, but the woman on the line, her name was Lila, sounded warm, kind. So he said yes. That first call? Awkward. Lots of silence. A few polite words. But Lila didn't give up. She called the next week, then the next, and slowly Joe opened up. He talked about jazz, about the Navy, about how he used to build model planes in his garage. He told stories he hadn't shared in years. By month 3, Joe was laughing again. By month 6, he was hosting a weekly gardening for beginners class at the senior center. His idea. And the best part? He's become a connection coach himself. One of his students is a 69-year-old woman named Teresa who just moved to California from Illinois. She said Joe's voice was the first friendly one she heard since arriving. Now they talk every Tuesday. That's the thing about connection. It's contagious. One spark becomes 2. 2 become a flame. And what started as one lonely man answering a phone call became a ripple that changed lives. You see, loneliness doesn't always need a dramatic fix. Sometimes all it takes is a rhythm, a voice, a reason to get out of bed and brush your hair. And if no one's told you lately, you're worth that reason. You're not invisible. You're not forgotten. You still matter, and the world needs your wisdom, your humor, your stories, your smile. Because somewhere out there is someone waiting to hear your voice. Think about that. And if you've been telling yourself it's too late to make new friends, to try something new, to laugh again, I'm here to tell you, it's not. It's never too late to start something small and let it grow. That garden tip Joe gave? It was this: plant something that doesn't bloom fast, but lasts a long time. Like lavender or rosemary. You won't see the beauty right away. But give it time and it'll surprise you. Maybe your next chapter is like that. Not flashy. Not loud. But strong. Steady. Worth the wait. So if something in this story touched your heart, even just a little, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps this message reach more people who might be sitting in silence right now, wondering if anyone else understands. And while you're at it, maybe share this video with someone who needs encouragement. A sibling, a neighbor, a friend. You never know what kind of connection that could start. In fact, I want to ask you something personal. What's one small thing you could do this week to create connection? Is it picking up the phone? Saying hi to a stranger? Visiting your community center? Put it in the comments. Really. Type it out. Not just for you, but for others reading. You might inspire someone who hasn't had a reason to try. Because when we speak hope out loud, it spreads. And don't worry about being perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. No one does. You just need to show up, with your heart open even a little. Because you never know who's out there waiting for your hello, your story, your spark. And if you're still watching this, I want you to know something simple but true. Your life isn't shrinking. It's shifting. And sometimes the most beautiful parts of the story come after the twist. So keep going. Keep reaching. Keep believing. You haven't missed your moment. It might just be around the corner. And the best part? You're not walking that road alone. Not anymore. If no one's told you this lately, you're doing better than you think. Life after 60 isn't a quiet ending. It's a new chapter, and you get to decide what kind of story it becomes. Yes, there will be empty chairs at the table. Yes, the phone won't always ring when you wish it would. But your life isn't measured by who hasn't shown up. It's shaped by what you still have to give and receive. Here's the truth we're not told enough. Loneliness after 60 isn't about failure. It's about change. Your social world shifts. Retirement, loss, distance, even health can redraw the map. And too often we think we're the only ones trying to navigate it. But you're not the only one. Across America, millions of older adults are quietly asking the same question. Where do I belong now? That's why what you do next matters. Because connection isn't something we outgrow. It's something we reclaim, one small step at a time. Maybe that step is joining a walking group in your local park. Like in Sarasota, Florida, where seniors meet every morning just to stroll and chat before the heat rises. It started with just 3 people. Now there's over 30. Some of them have become closer than family. Or maybe it's learning something new, like 74-year-old Bill in Portland, who signed up for an online ukulele class and now plays every Wednesday night with folks from 3 different states. He says the music is great, but it's the laughter that keeps him coming back. And maybe, just maybe, it's as simple as saying yes the next time someone offers to pick you up for bingo or church or coffee. That yes could change everything. Because every new friendship, every smile, every moment you feel seen, those are the lifelines. Those are the reasons to keep showing up. And if no one has invited you yet, let this be your invitation. You matter. Not just yesterday. Not just in the memories people hold of you. But right now. You still have stories to tell. Jokes to share. Wisdom to pass down. And laughter to spread. So if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Write a letter. Call a friend. Say good morning to your neighbor. Volunteer one afternoon a month. Ask for help if you need it. That's not weakness. That's courage. Because here's the truth the world often forgets. The strongest people aren't the ones who suffer in silence. They're the ones who reach out, even when it's hard. They're the ones who decide their best days are still ahead. And if you've made it this far into the video, I want you to pause and really take this in. You are not alone. You are not invisible. You are not finished. Your presence, your you-ness, is needed in this world. So if something in this video spoke to your heart today, go ahead and click that like button. Not just for us, but to show the world that connection still matters. Leave a comment below and tell us, what keeps you going when days feel long? What's one small act of kindness that lifted your spirits lately? Or even, what's one way you want to connect with someone this week? Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to see right now. And don't forget to subscribe to Everyday Seniors. Every week, we bring you stories, support, and inspiration, because growing older isn't about fading away. It's about shining in new ways. And if you know someone who's been struggling in silence, share this video with them. Let's be the kind of community that reaches out, not pulls away. Because being alone doesn't have to mean being lonely. And remember, even in quiet seasons, connection is still possible. Even in empty rooms, your life still echoes with purpose. Even on the hardest days, you still have so much light to give. This is your time. And your next chapter? It might just be your most beautiful one yet.
Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It truly means a lot. If you found this video helpful or inspiring, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with a friend or loved one who might benefit. And leave a comment below. We love hearing your thoughts and experiences. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest tips and uplifting advice for living your best life at any age. Now, if you're ready for more wisdom and encouragement, just click the video that's on your screen right now. It's packed with even more insights made just for you. Take care, stay positive, and we'll see you in the next one.